Good day, and welcome back to more Resident Evil Zero. Hopefully, your week has gone well, and you are gearing up for a fantastic weekend. The weather here has been exceptionally nice, making indoor time a slog as I wait to step outside and enjoy that sun. Now, let's get the internet stuff done and finished so we can move on. If you enjoy this, go ahead and like and comment, and if you are new here, subscribe. I do these game videos Tuesday and Thursday, reviewing toys Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you have time, I try to do a live session with my pal Leroy as we game on the Switch Sundays, generally at 1 p.m. EST, or Eastern Standard Time. That done. I want to say a big thanks for being here, and let's get into some fun facts, trivia, and other type of stuff. The last two videos, I discussed the first two movies based on this franchise, Resident Evil and Resident Evil Apocalypse. And I considered going straight onto more with 3. But, well, I am not a huge fan on that movie, and haven't finished watching it just yet. I like to be positive about the things that I put on this channel, but honestly, I really have trouble enjoying that movie at times. So rather than talk movie 3 yet, I want to discuss the history behind the fictional company Umbrella and its founding and events leading up to Resident Evil Zero. Many of these things, though, are discovered in later games during the events that occur during those games, such as finding documentation, or, just a little movie scene like in 5 and all that kind of stuff, right? Anyways, everything starts with 3 scientists: Oswald Spencer, Edward Ashford, and James Marcus. Now, Resident Evil Zero deals a lot with James Marcus and his reaction to some of the stuff that occurred to him when he was part of Umbrella. Now, the 3 of them had heard tales of a flower called the Stairway of the Sun. This flower is said to transform and give wondrous powers to those who eat it. They discover the origin of that story is West Africa and hypothesize that the flower, if real, has viral and mutagenic properties. The 3 rediscover the flower in West Africa and begin to cultivate it in the United States and manage to take the virus carried by the plant out. The 3 scientists name this virus the progenitor virus. Deciding that they can use this virus to achieve their dream of improved and enhanced humanity, they found a pharmaceutical company to fund the research in 1967. Marcus, Spencer, and Ashford named this company the Umbrella Corporation. Using the pharmaceutical front to help hide the illegal research being done, they also began selling research to the U.S. military to continue funding their desire to change humanity. Each of the 3 founders began to use this funding to take their research in different directions and set up little bases of power for themselves. Spencer begins to build a research lab beneath a section of the Arklay Mountains. Marcus basically does the same. Meanwhile, the last founder, Ashford, returns to the island his family home is built upon, Rockford, and develops facilities there. As Umbrella begins to develop their hold on the city near the Arklay Labs, Raccoon City, Spencer builds his mansion atop his lab to hide the facility. Though the founders have begun to become highly competitive and mistrustful of one another, Umbrella begins to build facilities worldwide, such as in the Antarctic. All 3 begin selling their research and bioorganic weapons in bids to consolidate their hold on the corporation. As they continue to fall out with one another, this does end up leading to the murder of the founder, Edward Ashford, meaning his son Alexander takes over as family head and lead for that branch of Umbrella's research division. But due to being a geneticist, Alexander switches to a more genetics-oriented research division rather than with virology. This ends up leading to the other founders to take less interest in his section of Umbrella, and Rockford is left relatively safe from the machinations occurring behind the scenes in the boardrooms. Alexander's research would lead to the birth of his children Alexia and Alfred, whom we will learn more of within Resident Evil Code Veronica. During these years, the other founders kept busy with the progenitor virus and its mutagenic properties. Spencer and another scientist, Dr. Wesker, begin to perform tests on children, enhancing their intelligence and physical abilities. These children would be injected with a prototype virus during their upbringing. 93% of them would perish due to their body rejecting the prototype virus. One of the two children who survived, Spencer felt had the most promise as he showed some additional physical abilities. This would be the one we know as Alfred Wesker, who would return to work at the company as a researcher at the age of 17. He would work for Marcus, though. The only other survivor of the Wesker project, Alex Wesker, would join the company as well. She would eventually end up the head of an Umbrella lab in the Baltic, which we'll be looking at in a different game, one that I actually haven't played yet, when we get to Resident Evil Revelations 2. In 1978, Marcus has a breakthrough in his research when he combines a strain of the progenitor virus with a leech, producing the T-virus, or the Tyrant virus. He begins his experimentation upon a variety of subjects. Spencer, fearing his power at Umbrella will begin to crumble now that his main competition has had a breakthrough, begins trying to hobble Marcus in the hopes to keep him at bay and prevent him from taking a further lead into the research of a new humanity. It is after the breakthrough that a young Wesker and fresh-faced scientist William Birkin begin to work under Marcus. Though Marcus and Spencer continue to plot against one another, they also both work together to consolidate their hold upon Raccoon City. They end up in control of most, if not all, major utilities, and with a controlling hand upon many of its prominent members of government. Their paranoia over the research being stolen leads to renovations to some city structures, such as the water treatment and sewage management buildings. These changes would be installations of puzzle locks and would continue to be implemented well until the end of the city. Umbrella would also take their need for test subjects into mind by starting an orphanage within the city, though it would be done under the guise of a different group to prevent any connection with the pharmaceutical giant. While Marcus continues to be hampered, he also continues his experimentation with the T-virus and its effects on various life forms for the following 10 years, disposing of unwanted and dead test subjects in the water treatment plant, which has begun to include, unfortunately, humans. Spencer manages to turn Birkin and Wesker against their mentor during this 10-year period after the production of Marcus's virus. It is also during this time Nest is built beneath Raccoon City, and rail lines are built underground to connect the various labs. Above ground, the Ecliptic Express is fixed along with its rail lines, and the train is used as a legitimate front to shuttle Umbrella's employees above ground. In 1988, with the promise that Nest's full resources can be theirs to command, Spencer convinces Wesker and Birkin to assassinate Marcus, finally eliminating his final main in-house competition. Birkin steals all of Marcus's research, and his facility is shut down after they dump his body in the disposal area of the water treatment. Spencer begins further research into the T-virus at the lab beneath his mansion estate. Meanwhile, not liking the effect the virus has, Birkin begins development of a new virus based upon the T-virus. He would name it the G-virus. Where the T-virus causes decay and loss of higher cognitive functions, G is able to cause cellular regeneration and the ability to retain some higher level brain functionality, though there is a mutagenic side effect upon the host who has been infected with the G virus. We will see more about this virus in Resident Evil 2 and also slightly in the Resident Evil remake. Spencer, Birkin, and Wesker would continue their research while the last Ashford, Alfred, would struggle to maintain power within the company after the loss of both his father and sister. Both would be presumed dead while Alfred continued research into the T-virus strain created by his sister before her disappearance, called T. Veronica. In 1996, Wesker, at the behest of Umbrella, would join the Raccoon City Stars as their new captain to help Police Chief Irons with controlling some of the police where Umbrella was concerned. Though, by now, Irons was also in Birkin's pocket, who was becoming paranoid about Umbrella and his interactions, feeling that they would want him gone much like they had wanted Marcus taken care of. Finally, in 1998, all the events that would lead to Umbrella's truth being known kick off with Resident Evil 0. So, finally, before ending today, I want to bring up a couple of things. During Umbrella's tenure as an above-board and underground corporation, they would face challenges by outside groups who would try to steal their research or actually get away with stealing the research and become problems on their own. Such as the Organization, which is the title of the group, the Organization, who is a shadow group connected to some of the events from Resident Evil 1 and 4, or Tricell, who is a big part of Resident Evil 5. Then there is a small retcon that connects Umbrella to Resident Evil 4, and its parasite, the Las Plagas. Though hinted at within the Resident Evil remake, which came out beforehand, it is solidified in the newer version of Resident Evil Nemesis. Until the remake of 4 occurs, I can't place when Umbrella discovered or at least heard of this ancient parasite, but its inclusion to the science of Umbrella's experiments goes a long way into explaining their ability to control certain subjects in the Tyrant series. Now, we will discover their beginning to use parasites in trying to control some of their stronger creations, like I said, in the Resident Evil remake from 2002, where we discover a new creature that was introduced in that remake called Lisa Trevor. We'll learn about her a lot more when we get to that game. But I do want to say that the Resident Evil remake and Resident Evil 3 definitely do use some kind of parasite to help control these creatures, and I'm curious to see where Resident Evil 4 takes this idea and enhances it. Anyways, that is all, and this was kind of a long one, so I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I want to say again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have an exceptional Thursday. Until next time, be well, smile plenty, and I'll see you around. Bye.